The San Diego International Film Festival is back, featuring dozens of movies, panels, and celebrations. It kicked off on Wednesday, and it runs through the weekend. One documentary being shown is shedding new light on philanthropy and introducing a new way of giving. Take a look.
You want to know why charities haven't changed the world? We hypnotize people in consumption. And we don't let the nonprofit sector indoctrinate people in compassion.
We have to go beg for every dollar we get.
We're trying to address income inequality,
Climate change, feeding the world,
the horrors of war,
racism,
sexual violence,
poverty.
We need to come up with solutions that we can't yet imagine.
What is a world that works for everyone? What does that world look like?
Oh, I'm asking myself that question so much, what that world, I think all of us are. Joining us this morning, director of that film, Stephen Gyllenhaal. Good morning, and it's so good to have you with us today. What inspired this? This looks so good.
Well, what inspired me to begin with was my relationship with a real advocate for change in charity, with Dan Pilato, an old friend of mine. And I watched him and experienced him being destroyed by this old ethos, which is you must be giving as a person in sackcloth and ashes. This old style of we all have to suffer in a certain way when we give, as opposed to give in a way that really brings about serious change. If you look at the history of charity's impact on really changing the world, it's been almost nil because it's so starved from really being capable of changing things.
What's starving it?
Well, there's this sense that all the money must go, for instance, to the homeless.
Okay.
So you'd go, I'm giving money, I'm giving my hard-earned money to the homeless, so give the money to the homeless. And there's actually Darren Walker, who is the president of the Ford Foundation, says, then you might as well just give 100% of the money to the homeless. And yet the complexity of the homeless issue demands that you have experts in there really, really working, and that they should be paid decently. And that's been the major problem, is that almost every charity has been starved because, unlike the for-profit sector, there's not enough money to really get the people who do the work to fully, they can't market, they can't spend money, even for instance, on medicine in a storage. You can't pay for the storage, for instance, in Africa, where the medicine is. There's all these things around overhead that have, I think, inadvertently kept the charitable sector, which is in the United States 10 million people, from really being able to bring about the changes that we really need, particularly now.
Yeah, particularly now. I said your last name, and I'm sure people at home, who is you? Yeah. You are the father of people who many people know, Maggie and Jake. Were they a part of this project as well?
No, not at all. In fact, being a parent and a grandparent, my job is to be there for them. That's my job. And in a certain way, it's like, I mean, this is maybe not appropriate exactly, but your kids don't want to know that their parents have sex. So my kids,
That's very true, I think,
it's
right?
true.
Okay.
And my kids don't really want to know, and I don't really need to have them know that I really have been in the movie business forever. And I think it's appropriate for people to understand that both of them totally made it on their own, even though I spent my life in Hollywood, and they certainly had a leg up, but it was ultimately their talent and their hard-working commitment to their own careers that was most important. So I kind of let them go. I was the booster rocket that sent them off into space. So no, they didn't know anything at all really about the movie. Maggie saw it. We had a premiere in New York.
Okay.
Maggie and Peter saw it and loved it. And I think, and then there's a place where it's, Dad made a really good movie. I'm really, really proud of it. And Jake's been shooting in Spain, so he hasn't seen it yet. So.
Well, I'm sure he will in due time.
I wanted to see it in the theater, by the way.
That experience is incredible. When you talk about charities, and especially in this day and age, and we were talking about this at the beginning, there is just so much need everywhere right now. I mean, just look at what's happening, in the past 10 days or so.
Yeah.
What is the best way then that people who they want to help, how can they help and do it in an impactful way?
Well, I want to go back to one thing that you asked earlier, because I started making the movie because of a friend's tragedy, and then his slowly pulling it together and getting clear about how charity should take place. It then became about an awareness that what we're talking about is not just giving so you feel good about yourself. Okay, I want to give, feel good at giving to the homeless. Okay, that feels good.
Okay.
But there's no sense of hope really in that. There's a sense of, oh, I'm kind of just taking care of the problem for now.
Okay.
What the film is about is hope. I mean, ultimately, as I was getting deeper and deeper into the film, I went, I want to take the audience on a movie journey, not a documentary journey, but a movie journey. Because when you think about what we all feel about the future, what Hollywood feels about the future, it's apocalyptic. It's hopeless. The world is going to end in a terrible way. I mean, what movie in the future talks about the future being terrific? So we go that way in the movie. I really wanted to make it, as we got deeper and deeper into it, was let's take the audience down, like dramatically, because mostly I've been a narrative film. Take it down to the darkest, darkest place, and then lift up for hope. So I think, now that's, I wanted to answer that. I wanted to say something else.
Yes.
So when the film is totally funded by donations.
Wow.
And one of the donors, very wealthy donor, was very upset with the movie toward the end. Why isn't it finished? We put all this money into it. It's not done, why it's not done? And he was very upset. So I decided I'll do a quick screening for him of the movie.
Oh.
He saw the movie. The next day, someone from Kiev called him and said, would you help me build houses? They were building 5 houses a month in Kiev. And he said to her, how do you scale that? How do you do that properly? Didn't ask about overhead. Now there are 500 homes surrounding Kiev, and there are going to be 5,000 in the next period of time, all because of this movie. Because it wasn't starved, because he didn't starve her with the old rules. He went, how do you scale it? How do you make this effective?
And you learn those new rules, and maybe this is exactly what you need on this weekend to watch it. So let's tell everybody, the San Diego International Film Festival is showing. It's called Uncharitable, Sunday 4:30 at AMC 14 UTC in La Jolla. FoxEyeSanDiego.com, click the Scene on tab, we'll get you information. So lovely to meet you.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
I could talk to you for hours. We'll take a short break, we'll be right back.